What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the third album by rapper Puff Daddy. Basically, this product is called The Saga Continues, and it came out in the summer of 2001. This was Puff Daddy's next move after his hit album from 1999, Forever, as far as what's fair is going to happen. Now, the previous one, more or less, was just the conduct of the continued after effect of him embellishing like the shiny suit era that kicked off with like No Way Out from 97, but the pitch behind Forever, which I don't know is super commonplace about that particular album from 1999, but the pitch within that fair is he had Mace around for a little bit, but Mace retired around that time, so it's kind of the pitch as far as saying it was just Puff Daddy kind of strutting up for, it's just particularly Puff Daddy kind of strutting around that time as far as this fair's kind of went, trying to figure out the next, basically trying to find the next big folk to replace the Notorious B.I.G. and folks like that. Originally, it possibly might have been Mace, but he went to Religion, pitches like that in 1999. Then it was going to be Shine, but he went to prison for a good decade within Stones That Fairs. Then it was going to be Black Rob. So it's just kind of the pitch that in terms of Bad Boy having someone to newly kind of rely on around these times between like 1997 to about 2003 or even further, it was kind of the pitch that Bad Boy did not really have like that particular anchor as Capital as Notorious B.I.G. as far as this fair's happened. Now there was some new angled kind of fresh talent as far as this pitch can happen between Loon and Mario Winans and folks like that, Black Rob, some of these type folks in particular, Shine in certain senses, but for the actual part, the unfortunate thing is it doesn't really have as much on here shine within the pitch as to what was kind of going on with him. But it's just kind of the fair as far as saying just the aspect behind how those fairs going to happen. It just kind of feels like the aspect. It just kind of feels like Bad Boy, the records label, has kind of been awkward type territory around these times. But it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying. It's kind of the pitch as far as saying that this still is a pretty anchor type album. I realize that this kind of got mismatched kind of reception back in those days as far as the fair's going to happen, but it actually is pretty blistering within the appeal, like the commercial outlook upon it. I think what it definitely did do within the pitch behind it, despite the fact that maybe in terms like a banner type rap song, this album is not as large as like No Way Out within the pitch of having something like Can't Hold Me Down or I'll Be Missing You, some of those type of ones, the hits that he had in 97, some of those type hits that were number one, number two, some of those type of ordeals. No Notorious B.I.G. that has like this the show stealing kind of verses pitch like that. It's not like there's not anyone who has good verses on here, but it's just the pitch in terms like, you know, the larger than life figure that Biggie and folks like Lil Kim, some that folks had, Mace within the particulars within the aspect of it. It's just kind of pitch as far as saying this is just kind of a good album from just kind of an excellent classic album from Puff Daddy, just without like the usual kind of bannerness, just without all the hoopla of like the commercial kind of dynamite that you would expect from something that's going to be all over like number one, number two, number three in terms of like the chart appeal as far as those aspects can happen. It's not bad. You know, Black Rob and some of these type of folks are pretty dope on here within these pitches. Black Rob, Loon, some of these type of folks in the aspect, but the devil's hit within the appeal. What this album does succeed in doing is it kind of ushers in R&B. It's kind of the pitch that, in terms of the aspect behind it, there's a Pop Daddy is not on every single song off this product. There are some ones that try to establish like Faith Evans more and Carl Thomas and Sherry Dennis, some of these particular type folks having like some R&B moments where it would have been nice to have gotten Puff Daddy on these songs, kind of doing what Biggie used to do in like the early and mid 90s pitches like that. But it's just some good type fair seeing these particular R&B type songs because it kind of makes like some particular contemporary type vibes. A big song that was around this time was Peaches and Cream, which has that particular appeal. That was a big important song within the aspect of making R&B songs more disco and contemporary within songs that pitches. There were folks trying to do that. Aaliyah was trying to do it. Beyonce was trying to do it. Some of those particular type folks. Pink was trying to do it. Some of these type aspects. Christina Aguilera. There's folks in particular that were trying to get R&B towards like more than just like a singular kind of. It's not to say that R&B from like the 80s, 90s, 70s was not within the aspect behind it, but just where it was more dance floor centric and the step out was not just strictly one dance song within the pitch and then ballads within the tone as far as those fairs. But it's just kind of the amalgamating of this being an album that kind of like was a page turner in the aspect of getting. This particular album was kind of a page turn in terms of the aspect of making like R&B music, not just rap music, but making R&B music kind of within the format of MTV, VH1 friendly within some type aspects. The way it kind of kicked off, thinking when you think of folks like Usher and B2K and Omarion and some of those type of folks that were doing that around that time, Mario and Mario Winans, just a bunch of folks like that, just from the pitch as far as early 2000s R&B. So it had that particular appeal, kind of unsung within the territory of how that was kind of showcased on here, considering there's not as many R&B singles. But the very next year when Puff Daddy dropped the album, We Invented the Remix, which I reviewed and published to the Acid Roots channel back in April 2025. It's just the pitch as far as saying within the conduct of it is just some good type tones within that. But the original I Need a Girl is on this particular album, so I Need a Girl Part 2 is on the 2002 album. It's just the pitch as far as getting towards some of these. I had that good contemporary aspects, but the 3 singles off this product just within those tones are really not that. And that's what I was saying before. Bad Boy for Life, Let's Get It, and Diddy are all songs that are not necessarily full-bound kind of chart-centric within the aspect as far as these particular songs are just not as full-bound chart-centric within the appeals of like what normally would have happened considering how Puff Daddy was in like the mid-90s and 97 and like possibly 99. I don't know how full-bound well Forever charged some of those type pitches, but just been fair. Usually Puff Daddy was pretty central to like having some good radio appeal. But this kind of pitch, this one just didn't have as much full-bound. It's not, say it's in hardcore type territory, it's just kind of the pitch that it just is more focused on like the background type fare and just more kind of capo type stuff, just for the product of kind of pulling like the strings and pulleys throughout some of those type aspects just behind the scenes, but it just kind of has the aspect. And it's a good type album, but it's just not as full bound kind of commercial. But it is classic, I would say. It just has the aspect of a lot of dynamite on here, but just less casual. But it doesn't mean it's bad. So look after, there's 17 songs. They're actually songs. There are 25 songs on this album, but there are 8 interludes and skits pitches like that, so it narrows it down to 17. Within those 17, I wound up recommending 15. So this album's going to get a 10 out of 10 within these pitches, but I look within the aspect as far as saying just within the tones behind it, that once again, this is not as like super kind of casual. Like none of the singles really cracked like past like the top 50. I want to say the most popular song was probably Bad Boy for Life, which I could look up the appeal behind that song, just being able to say that. Well, actually, Bad Boy for Life was a top 33 single, but it's just within the pitch as far as saying that's still relatively lighter considering Puff Daddy's normal popularity, I'd have to say. Within the pitch, Let's Get is the lead single. It's like a good pounding kind of evening step out to kind of get here and buzz kick off. I'd say within the pitch, there's some of those type fares. Great to smoke a few rounds and just it's a great song to smoke a few rounds and have a few vapors. Some of those type pitches within the format, just typical kind of chillax and just convos is what I mean by that. If you don't know what the vapors mean, some of those type pitches just within the fare. But I look after it just within the conduct of it. It's basically kind of buzz noise. One of those type ones that just feels kind of extra. Let's Get It doesn't necessarily feel extra, but it just kind of feels like the pitch that this probably would be like. I mean, this is just the conduct of like an excellent kind of buzz single. I just would look within the pitch here, just kind of the initial type noise. It's interesting that this was actually like the lead single as opposed to like a buzz single. Some of those type fares. It probably feels like this album probably should have kicked off with like a song like I Need a Girl or one of those type ones or something like the Saga Continues, some of those type pitches, one of those type fares within it, Blast Off or one of those type ones within pitch, something a little bit more contemporary within like a good bounce. It's kind of the appeal. It's interesting that this particular one, it's not a bad song, it's just kind of pitched just like some kind of sloppy kind of kickoff type noise that just go into places like Brown Derby and some of those type places, Walmart, some of these type fairs, you know, some good liquor stores, some of those type places just get like some good aspects like the fair kind of kicked off. It's just the noise, it just feels kind of more commonplace and pedestrian considering the aspect of like the aspect of something that would be kicked off with that full bound possessed. But it's not a bad song. I definitely recommend it full bound just with pitch. It's just more secondary in terms it's just the aesthetic is more pedestrian. I'd say just more around the neighborhood. But Bad Boy for Life is the second single. It's another quality one. It's like a city neighborhood drive to kind of get here, just some new era kind of drugstore and newsstand kind of gab pitches like that, just with Pal Similes type products of it. Good for some pounds, just initial kind of conduct, hitting up some homies, just from the aspect of neighborhood type, usual jaunts, just more miss like city at a New York fair, or just more places, more popular pitches like that. It's kind of out and about type traffic within a more kind of socialized type sense. Good song for some tokes as far as this first half. So just some city sunshine, definitely some summer hop type noise. Basically getting something that you would have gotten from like folks like Public Enemy or NWA, just more in like a 2001 type fashion. So it's not, I mean, amidst like the actual city stress of just kind of having some of those type fairs where it's not actually or it's not actually car commerce pitched like that, but just amidst the product of just like going and getting like some things just in nearby. It's actually getting some type of things like a neighborhood type jaunt, some of those type products are just like mingles and weaving as far as what's first happens. Just a good pitch for like that typical kind of noise of just like gas station runs and some of those type products are just goodies, drugstore type things and newsstands, some of those type fairs. Pretty banner type song. This is the most popular song according to Spotify, I'd have to say. It's the most popular song according to Spotify. The second most popular song is Diddy, which is surprising within some of those type pitches, but some good type aspects. But yeah, Diddy is the third single. It's produced by the Neptunes, so good type appeal. It's like an early bird kind of Neptune. Diddy is like an early bird kind of Neptune's dance mingle to kind of get here within those aspects. This reminds me of like a Jay-Z kind of afterthought, something that Pharrell and Jay-Z would have done with songs like I forget the name of the song, but it's where Pharrell kind of says, "I'm a hustler, baby." I forget the name of that song, but it's off of the Dynasty album from the year 2000. Some of those type pitches that Pharrell and Jay-Z would kind of team up with, songs like Front and some of those type ones, and the after effect of it. Also kind of like Shake Your Ass by Mystical, some of those type products within the tone, this like a lit kind of radio grab, kind of good hop to kind of get here. Now, Pop Daddy and Pharrell, it's not like they don't have good chemistry, but Pharrell's chorus on the particular song Diddy is just not nearly out. You would have thought within that type of appeal, getting Pharrell in 2001 when he was usually nailing these hooks pretty excellently from what you probably would remember from like the stuff he did with Jay-Z and Mystical, some of those type folks, and other folks that he kind of collaborated with around that time. I forget his full band, but there were some other ones, possibly like Busta Rhymes, some of those type folks, but just from the pitch as far as saying it's kind of product that this was kind of it's not a disappointing full band type song, it's just a little bit flatter considering that, Puff Daddy had the budget to be able to get like a pretty excellent type Pharrell beat on here, so it's just kind of pitch as far as saying this definitely probably should have been the most popular song off the album, I'd say in particular, but it's just kind of, it's not passe, but the chorus is just not as normally blistering as like what Pharrell would kind of deliver, so it's just kind of pitch. But Bad Boy for Life is more hitting in terms of like the aspect, like the energy, but this is like a decent dance stepper that this is within the vibes of it, so it's just good type pitch. But yeah, there's only 2 songs I don't recommend out of the 17 that are songs on here after axing the interludes and pitches like that, and those 2 songs would be That's Crazy and then Child of the Ghetto. So basically, That's Crazy is just, that particular song is just a gimmick song where every couple of seconds or so they say That's Crazy within the pitch behind it, just the worst variation. Like, when you think of like Big Time, I mean, even though this song came out before Big Timers is Oh Yeah, that charted pretty well in 2002, I feel like those particular type of gimmick songs, when they're not pulled off as well, can kind of be kind of just more, they just have like a certain kind of scraping and kind of abrasive type fact that it just is not as aspect within the tones that probably would have been a bit. It's not like the production on this song is full on horrible, but just didn't nail the vibe within particular. I want to say that particular song might have been on the We Invented the Remix album from 2002 as well, and I think I didn't recommend it on that album either, so it's just kind of within the pitch as far as saying it's not as full blown affable. It's kind of like a drifting type one that reminds us something of like the Juicy type vibe from Biggie, but just not as catchy as that particular song, so just within the pitch as far as saying. And then like the other song, Child of the Ghetto is just kind of a screeching type one that just is not as full bound within the appeal. Just kind of a city hop. Just particularly trying to nail like some Mobb Deep and Wu-Tang Clan type vibes within pitch, like a frenetic type pace, something that you would have caught from folks like Jadakiss, Styles P, probably Havoc, some of these type folks in particular within the aspects of it, but DMX in certain senses, but just doesn't have the particular spark within the aspect of being able to nail that particular vibe about it. I like kind of the freneticness and the paranoia, but I don't know if it's not as full blown catchy within the aspect behind it. But yeah, that's the particular tone. So the sound gets a 10 out of 10. So there's plenty of these on here. Blast Off is a real excellent one. It's like a jazzy kind of dance floor noise kind of get. This reminds of like Peaches and Cream. I would definitely say just some 2-step kind of get social and crunk as far as those pairs can happen. Definitely in the pitch, just kind of R&B flavor within some of those type of aspects. Now I look after it here. There are a couple of songs like this within the aspect of it as far as those pairs can happen. Another song that particularly nails that vibe within the same sort of pitch is Lonely. This is a good combo with Blast Off. I'd say here, just get crunk and bust a move. I would definitely say within the context of it, it's kind of a shiny suit and jazzy type conduct within the fair as far as those aspects can happen. So just continue those vibes. Even if Puff Daddy was not as much full bound and miss like the shiny suits by this particular time, I mean, it says that there is like a shiny suit man on interlude on this particular album. It's just within the pitch as far as saying that this is kind of the product that is kind of disco-y within the pitch, but it's just kind of format, maybe not. There's some glitz on here, but it's actually a pretty good packaging of a number of Puff Daddy albums. I think it has the shiny suit type stuff on here, but it also has some of that leftover kind of mafioso vibes of like No Way Out within certain pitches as well. There's some R&B songs like Can't Believe that nailed that pretty well, and there's like another one like I think it's Roll With Me, I think that particularly kind of does that. Some of these Faith Evans songs, I think definitely within the pitch have that particular flair about it, and possibly on top some of these type ones. Kind of amalgamation, getting left over. It's not as much full bound like the vibes of Life After Death, but it does have moments of easily reminding of like No Way Out and Forever, some of those type pitches with a little bit of Ready to Die to it, and some of those type fares. But yeah, I would definitely say On Top is a quality one. This is like a relative kind of makeshift dredge to kind of get here, something Biggie would have done. It definitely reminds me of something Biggie would do in like a City Sunset, some of those type pairs within the pitch. Just kind of more something like Juicy and like something more like Juicy and Everyday Struggle, just within a more kind of 4 o'clock or 5:30, 6:15 p.m. type aspect within the tones behind it. Just kind of good for some city traffic as far as those pairs going to go. So just good type aspects to have some left over. This album really does not have as much denotations to Biggie within the tone behind it. It's not like it doesn't. It's not to say it doesn't have the concern to still fucking with Biggie, but it's just kind of pitched that it's just that it just doesn't continue to be in consistent mourning mode as far as this pitch can. But there are some after effects on that on here. I might note some more of these if I can find them within the pitch. But yeah, I would say Roll With Me is a quality one as well. It's like a dreary kind of after hours bleed to kind of get within the context of it. Definitely Smoke Something Grand, I'd say, within the aspect. Just real nice, comfy type song, relish in like some post-hour activity as far as those pairs can happen. So just to miss the pitch, I like particular fair, just getting towards the product, I like some good kickoff just with an aspect. It's kind of one for like the weaving, just a sluggish type song, but definitely the aspect. It is something within the aspect of pretty smarmy type song within the pitch like that city kind of dredge, but it's frustrating, but it's not like negative kind of frustrating. So it's just the pitch of just some comfiness and coziness in that particular tone. So Complete is a quality one as well. It's like a basic cool cat kind of strip club bounce kind of get here, just some cozy kind of demon time movements that I'd say kind of a slick 2000s kind of R&B gem. So it's just the pitch as far as getting towards that. This is a particular song that only has Sherry Dennis as far as those fairs can happen, but it's definitely excellent within the appeal. I do like the hop of this particular fair. This reminds like if you think of the album ATLiens by Outkast, some of those type pitches, just kind of after hours product that folks like Big Boy and Too Short, some of those type folks would be on within some of those type aspects behind it. So good type appeal. I Need a Girl, the original one, is excellent within these aspects as well. It's like an early bird kind of single. This particular song has some early bird kind of single potent. The original I Need a Girl has some early bird kind of single potential. I'd say it's very R&B flavored kind of dance club step out. I'd say within aspects of it here, it just kind of paved the genre out as far as those pitches kind of happen. So I Need a Girl definitely feels like something that Fabulous, some of those type folks should have been on around those particular pitches. It definitely needed like the Usher hook. I mean, Puff Daddy was very wise to get that particular sequel to that song in 2002 just within pitch. This definitely has some good type of appeal of being able to do the sort of stuff that folks like Aaliyah and Beyonce and Sean Paul and some of these type of folks are trying to get to within the aspects of it. Usher and a lot of these folks that were kind of paving that out, and B2K and Omarion. So it's definitely in the pitch. R&B was going through a lot of transition type stages. It's definitely the aspect between songs like So Complete, I Need a Girl, some of these type ones. I'd say there's another one on here, maybe more or less like Roll With Me and Can't Believe, some of these type aspects. So it just has these good type tones for some of these type pairs, the shape shifting, good aspect there. The Saga Continues is a real excellent type one as well as real blistering type ones, like a glittering kind of great album kickoff to kind of get within the aspects of it. Just the pop rap kind of radio hustle, I'd say here. Just some day shift grits as far as this pairs going to happen. This just feels like an 80s kind of rocky type mentality pitch, just like that, just to miss the grit of just like hopping to it, just more amidst like probably brunch hours of just day shift type grind with an aspect of just kind of a radio song, but just kind of the pitch of having some of that hustle type grind, that just not so much full bound hustlers makeshift, but just within the product, just SFW within the sense of having the fair just being within a rap type. It's definitely just like a good SFW kind of pop rap type song within pitch as far as this first happens. So this is the sort of thing. I think this probably could have been a good buzz single as well within some of those type pitches. If this song had been longer or something like that, actually this song was fine in length. So it's just the pitch as far as saying it, probably just the aspect as far as saying this could have been a good buzz single choice, some of those type ones. I think I Need a Girl, the Saga Continues, some of these type ones would have been excellent within the tone. Probably another one of these R&B type ones like On Top Pop, say On Top or Blast Off. So there were some further type ones within those pitches behind it. If You Want This Money's a nice one as well within the fairs behind it. It's like a litty kind of big city paranoia to kind of get within the tones. This reminds of like something DMX and Swiss Beats would kind of do some of those type aspects. Definitely kind of needed them as far as those fairs. This just feels like something that Swiss Beats would have capped off in like the chorus, something like that, and DMX would have been pulsating pitches like that, just really getting loud within a particular project, something he would have done. Just, I feel like the energy of this song could have probably been like Party Up in Here, one of those type ones, just that Tibble type banger, just has the aspects, some of that type fare. I mean, it just has a little bit more commonplace and pedestrian type feel about it, but it's definitely the pitch. If it would have had, and I don't think it would have been too much of a big deal to have gotten DMX on that song, this probably could have been a nice choice for like a real raving type one, but it's just the pitch. Still has some excellent type product. From what I want to say, I'm not sure. Yeah, so that's some good type appeals. Where's Sean is a nice one as well as like an out and about and kind of like a James Bond like kind of quick times to kind of get here. I'd have to say about that song. This feels like a movie scene kind of rush as far as those pitch comes. It's just within the pitch, just some quick times, definitely some bustle kind of traverse just to miss the pitch of just like having like a pretty active type times within the pitch of just getting towards it and kind of enjoying the pacing and how things are kind of being productive within the fair, like some busybodiedness and activeness as far as this person can happen. So Puff Daddy is not actually on this song, which makes sense considering the song is called Where's Sean? Sean Combs as far as this person can happen. It's just the pitch as far as saying it's a good product to get that particular song with some excellent type appeals. The last song is a quality one as well. This goes pretty well within the relative aspect within the same type pacing of Where's Sean. It's like a feeling jazzy and kind of amidst like midday kind of writing. I'd have to say here just some good brushing kind of commerce. I'd say just good mood kind of hustle song within pitches like that. It's kind of a productive outing as far as those pairs can have. So just to miss the pitch of So the last song is just kind of some drafty, kind of feel good, out and about within city rushes as far as those first happen. Just another movie scene type one that just like a good kind of good pop rap kind of hustleness within the aspect of it. So good type tone for some of those. Can't Believe is a quality one within aspects as well. Can't Believe is like a good in between kind of dark scorn to kind of get within the aspects of it here. This reminds of like Life After Death and No Way Out, some of the stuff fares. Now I know I said there's not a ton of commonplace. It's seemingly that reminds of Life After Death, but it's just kind of the pitch of Puff Daddy and Biggie in '97. Some of that pitches with the more noir type stuff within the product of it. It's like a nice brooding type one. It's also a song off of No Way Out that particularly reminds me of just within the aspects behind it. Just being able to say, I want to say a particular song that had, yeah, I think it's actually Is This the End. I mean, Puff Daddy was pretty good about finding these hit songs for Carl Thomas as far as those press games. It's just definitely excellent type pitch, kind of just another further type hit within the aspects of something that Carl Thomas did within same sort of vibes as Is This the End, just that broodiness just within the after product of like probably 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock p.m. sounds type pitches within the product of it, just kind of in between type moments, just a more bruised type sense, good aspect. Faith Evans is along for the ride as well in this particular song, so it's excellent type PL, good aspect there. Another quality song off this album would be Back for Good Now. It's like a woozy kind of evening scene drunkenness that I'd say to get here. Just definitely dope within that conduct. It's like a good embellish and date night kind of social as far as those first happen. So this is probably one of the more just cut loose type ones within the product of it, of not just going out for like a dance vibe, something like that, but actually the aspect of having more than like a 2 or 3 beers within your system, some of those type fares within it. Just kind of definitely some good social kind of unwind as far as those fares can happen. So it's definitely within the pitch. I like the product of these particular fares about it. It just kind of has that particular spice within the aspects. I would say pretty similar to like goes in good combination with songs like Blast Off, and I would say like Lonely, some of those type pitches, and Diddy, some of those type ones. Probably within that's the same sort of dance club type spice to Diddy, but just a little bit more sauced up as far as those fares would kind of have with this. It's just a miss the pitch of getting towards some of those type fares. Good type tones within those pitches. So I look after, I think I covered every single song in here as far as those fares can happen, definitely within the aspect behind it. So just look within the pitch as far as saying, so I just would have to say within the tone, this album gets a 10 out of 10. The social score I'll go ahead and give. The quality of this album is definitely nailed within the pitches to how these tones would kind of have them. It's just the fair as far as saying that just casual wise, it's just not as much dynamite. I feel like he definitely mastered that particular product a little bit more compactly within the aspect of some of his type tones on We Invented the remix from 2002, but this is kind of like the rough draft, kind of sketchier type version of that. Not a bad album in any sense, but it's this kind of pitch. I'll probably give the social score more or less like a 9.5 out of 10. I mean, it has the quality on here, but just some of these single type moments. Bad Boy for Life is a real excellent type one, but that's the most popular song, and that was only like a top 35 single, so it's definitely with an aspect of Puff Daddy's normal kind of commonplace popularity. There should have been a larger type massive single off this album. I definitely have to say Let's Get It and Diddy didn't do Let's Get It and Diddy, the singles didn't do nearly as well as what they probably should have, especially with Pharrell being in his prime in the early 2000s pitches like that. So just kind of with the aspect was just kind of the tone. There's some other single choices like I Need a Girl and Blast Off, and like the Saga Continues, some of those type ones within pitch that probably could have been nailed pretty excellently. Some of those type fares that probably would have been some further type ones. Was this kind of pitch just saying it's just the sketchier type thing. I mean, Puff Daddy was trying to juggle like fleshing out like R&B throughout the 2000s, getting that more VH1 MTV friendly pitches like that, some type tones. It's the product of doing that, and then having like the typical kind of city grit with like some new era kind of leftover disco and shiny suit, and then the noir type stuff that was kind of from No Way Out and some of those type pitch. So just the product getting towards that good amalgamation, but just not so much cumbersome or unwieldy, but just the product that just kind of had its hands full more to have a little bit more commercial kind of shine. But he definitely did that a lot further in 2002. So it's just the pitch as far as getting that. But this is a classic with an aspect. Just the execution. It's just the fact that it's not as much of a casual kind of classic, but it's not bad by any means. So 9.5 social. In terms of the future, like Puff Daddy did put out an album in late 2023, but he's been dealing with legal issues, pitches like that. He went to prison in 2024, and that's the product of what's happening within the court cases and the sentencing, some of those type of appeals. But within the pitch, another classic album here to be able to get within those aspects. Very vicious, just the tone as far as those first going to happen. Definitely kind of underappreciated, I'd say, within a lot of pitches. Just some good type product to find some secret kind of Puff Daddy songs and some ones that helped mailed out R&B and things like that. Some disco kind of stuff and like City Dredge.